Hey, Bill.
Chris, how are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, where are we? This is like your home away from home, basically.
Correct. We're at the Village Links of Glen Ellen. We're going to get quick 9 in before work in our real lives, things we have to do. But we're here today to make a gear talk video about the sub 70 659 irons.
Yeah, and it's cool because we have all three in the bag.
Yep.
I'm playing a full bag of CBs, and you have the mixed bag of TC and MBs.
Yes.
So we can go over the whole lineup.
Yep. Some keynotes.
Yeah.
It's the next iteration of the 639 iron. Right. So the sub 70 creed, if you will, is don't make a new club unless it's better than the previous. So I'm going to say it. I've hit both of them. The 659 is better.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about the club, obviously, as we go. Available in 3 finishes.
Okay.
Satin chrome, like I have.
Right.
Raw, like you went with. And then they have a black QPQ finish.
Okay.
Which is a new finish for them. It's an upgrade from the PVD finish they used before. It's more durable. It just made me think of a Spinal Tap. It can't get any more blacker. Right? Or none more black.
None more black.
But yeah, so and then I think the standout club in the lineup is the TC, which is a gap club between your forgiving cavity back and your player's lower handicap friendly MB iron.
Right.
All 3 of them though are for your mid to lower handicap, better ball striker, better shot maker, have blade profiles. You know, they're not game improvement clubs. The CB, TC, they're just not the hardest in the world clubs to hit. Right. So little, not your grandfather's blades. I use that. I'm going to use that theme regularly as we go through and talk about these clubs.
Yeah. What are they made of?
DT4 steel.
Okay.
It's a softer steel. So think like buttery forged carbon irons.
Yeah.
This DT4 is definitely that. One thing we I don't think we touch on enough. They made all 3 of the different types in such a way you can either go full cavity back set, full tour cavity set, TC, full muscle back set, or you can mix and match and blend them. And the way they did that, they gave them all the same loft and lies, so they really go seamlessly into each other. And so my set that I got fit for, I have all 3 of them, as we mentioned. CB in the 4-5, TC in the 6-7, and then MB 8-9 pitch.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you do that with other models, other brands, whatever, they might have different loft and lies depending on the type of club, and you have to get crazy with adjusting, so everything's the same. Not these. Easy to interchange. Get yourself a nice mixed set like I have.
That's pretty cool. All right. I think that's everything.
All right. Yeah, I think we nailed it.
Go play golf?
Let's do it.
Bill, tell us about, let's start with the 659 MB.
Perfect. I just hit it.
Right, you did.
All right. So out of the 3 different versions of the 659, you have a CB, TC, MB. The MB is the muscle back. That's what MB stands for. It is for your better ball strikers, for the lower handicap players who like to shape their shots and want a more piercing flight. It has a little higher center of gravity than the other 2 irons in the family. Look, very much a traditional blade, but they're not your grandpa's old blades from the garage. They're a lot easier to hit. I wouldn't say they're forgiving by any means. So if you're thinking like, oh great, a forgiving iron, probably not this. but compared to a lot of other muscle back blades out there, these are, to me, a lot smoother, easier to hit, largely to do with that new sole design. A lot of people have done something similar, but in sub-70s lineage here. It's an update. They have a rolled off or rounded trailing edge and leading edge for better turf interaction. Better, I don't know. What I will say is I like how it feels through the turf. It's smooth yet crisp, very clean. I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's a pretty straightforward club. It's a blade. Feels really good. Super pure. Solid, yet that forged, buttery feeling. That's a good way to describe it, right? Yeah, just classic blade. I love it. You play a whole bag of CB irons, the 659 CBs. Tell us a little bit about it.
Right. So yeah, it's my turn to talk about the CBs. So, Bill, correct me if I say anything incorrect or if I miss anything, since you're the real, true gear expert among us.
I absolutely will.
So, we've talked about the MBs. Now, we'll talk about the TCs last, but it goes MB, TC, and then you get to the CB. Mm-hmm. And the CBs are kind of, a tweener between your super game improvement, which is what I used to play, and moving into the tour cavity and the blades. So essentially, it's just a more forgiving iron, more weight right in the bottom of this thing to help get the ball up, hotter face for those of us that miss around here. These are the raws. I'm very excited about the raws. And then, the other, what was the other thing called in the longer irons?
Undercut technology.
Right, there's some undercut technology. We won't get into that too much, but it also helps with your longer irons as well, your 4 and 5s. And but that's really it. They're very different than my Super Game Improvements I was playing. The top line's a little thinner, bottom certainly a little thinner. But
still a blade profile without sacrificing too much feel and forgiveness.
It's true. And I guess, at the end of the day, for me, what I've been impressed with, I think someone asked me about this, but the feel off the face of these things are so good, so smooth, so buttery. And I mean, we're not hitting driver, we're only hitting irons today. And so Bill and I are just going off tees with 4 irons. And man, I haven't hit a 4 iron since Bill and I became very best friends in the whole world. And I am in love with the CB 4 iron. Oh, that is. All right, Bill, last but not least, the TCs, right?
Yeah, this is the one that initially caught my eye way back when Jason Hyland had a prototype in his bag, and this is their bridge club between the CB and the MB. So it's going to have a lot of the forgiveness in flight benefits that the CB gives you, easier launch, little hotter face and feel, but closer to the workability you want in an MB. So right in between the two. I think there will be a lot of people who have this all the way through the bag. For me, I have it in my 6 and 7 iron. 4 or 5 I have CB. This I have in 6 and 7. Yeah, that's right. I had to think about it a little bit. But I love it. It reminds me a lot of, like, I'll just say, I won't name brands, but classic forged cavity back blades. Definitely has a blade profile. It's a shot maker's club if you like to work the ball up and down, left and right. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, super forgiving, feeling, but playable like a blade, like a muscle back. So I mean, I don't know. That's all there is to say. Is that good? Is that enough? I love this club. It's definitely, I would say this is my favorite in the 659 family between CB, TC, MB. It's fantastic.